the 4 games that Trib Live has going on in their in-house market. 3-0 lead early for Hopewell. I think the point total on that one between Hopewell and Avonworth has to be, I don't know, 75.5 easily.
They over 50 the last, I think, 4 or 5 times they've played combined, so I'd expect high scoring. And we got a fumble on the kickoff in the Ellwood City game. Let's see, Ellwood City might have pounced on this. That would be massive. Nope, they're still going to give it back to – yeah, they did not recover that, so that's a false alarm on my behalf. But talking about that Hopewell team, the James Armstrong, the quarterback, just got an offer from Penn State. Belichick's offered him at North Carolina. Everybody wants this kid. He's only a sophomore. He's 6'3", had the breakout game last week. James Franklin was in the Pittsburgh region earlier in the week to meet with the kids over at Pine Richland and Cleo Taylor. So I know he's got his eyes set on getting a quarterback. And, one of the things that I'll say about Penn State and their recruiting is, and Franklin has done a good job. I mean, obviously he goes to Ohio and he plucks Drew Aller, and he had Bo Perbula, who he needed to get out of Central York, and then Perbula, of course, leaves and is now one of the best quarterbacks in the country at Missouri. But James needs to get himself a Pennsylvania quarterback that he can throw his weight behind and have carry that team. I mean, Will Howard, they didn't even recruit him when he was coming out of Downingtown West. The kid that went out to Missouri from the Philly area last year never really considered Penn State much. They didn't get Joey O'Brien, who some think might play a little quarterback at the next level. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to just go ahead and we got a big play in the Neshannock game too. Is Anthony Aiken. What a touchdown run by Anthony Aiken. So Neshannock gets right back down the field and answers that Northgate touchdown with another big play from this Lancer offense. And they are really rolling here early on in this contest. This might end up being a high-scoring, take the over 60-point style game here if form holds the way that they're going back and forth early on. So that's a huge play for Neshannock in that one. And Aiken picking up right where he's left off. And we've got just huge play after huge play after huge play in that Neshannock-Northgate game early on. But just to finish the point about Armstrong at Hopewell, Penn State hasn't been able to land the Pennsylvania quarterback. Yeah. And, I mean, the one that they had, Bo Perbula, leaves and goes to Missouri. So James Franklin needs to hit a home run on an in-state quarterback. And if Armstrong turns out to be what many people think he's going to be, that's a can't-miss kid. He's going to end up pushing his way up towards 5-star territory. He's going to push his way towards everybody in the country wanting him. And you get sucked in that trap of Bama's going to knock on his door, and I'm sure like Tennessee, who's an up-and-coming program now with Joey Aguilar, quarterback, and Ohio State's going to want him because they're right across the border, and I'm sure Michigan's going to want him. They're not that far away. You have to look at your opportunities, and Penn State's going to have an opportunity to get a kid and let him go for 3 or 4 years like they had with McSorley, like with Aller, like with Sean Clifford. And, that's if they can get a kid in state to do that, that's a big get for James Franklin. So keep an eye on that. I don't know that he's going to commit early, and I think if he's smart, he's probably just going to let this thing go, work its process out. But he's going to be the big target for Penn State here coming up in the next couple of seasons for sure. So we got the big play from Neshannock. Ellwood City did not get that kickoff recovery, but they do. Let's see. They have the ball back right now, it looks like. And Laurel has added another touchdown. So they are up early in that game, 14-0. So the Spartans are picking up where they left off from a couple weeks ago, and they're playing some back to their old ways again. A couple other scores in the region as South Allegheny just scored once again. I believe that was Elijah Cook who had the touchdown run for them, the starting quarterback, just a sophomore. The other big game, the Penn Hills Aliquippa game, they're about halfway through the first quarter. There's no score in that game. We might at some point be able to tap into Penn Hills for that one if that gets tight. Fort Cherry's still up 7-0. Monessen had a good drive that stalled out. And then those two have traded possessions once again. So there's activity, as they say.
Looks like Wilmington on the road already up 7-0 late in the first quarter, and they're on the doorstep there against Grand Valley. About 2:45 remaining, and got it. Just so much fun to watch this wing T offense. The way that they block everybody involved in the play and just pound right up the gut, saying, hey, we're bringing this at you. Go ahead and try to stop us.
Well, and the other thing about their team, too, is where some teams and some programs like to challenge themselves in non-conference, and, we see a lot of Pittsburgh teams that go out of state and play. I think, who was it, Pine Richland or somebody just went out of state last week. Maybe it was Central Catholic. I can't remember. But a couple teams have played the Ohio team. St. Joe's Prep loves to challenge itself against some of the national teams. But what I like that Wilmington's done, so they're single A, so there isn't much that they can do as far as the competition within single A in their region. They play who they have to play. Obviously, they got the big one with Farrell. Brandon Fillion likes to just say, we're going to go on the road and put you guys on a bus 5 weeks in a row or 4 weeks in a row, and we're going to have you just kind of grind it out that way and get accustomed to making the long trips. Because when they go on these playoff games, these trips on these playoff games, they get a Guilfoyle or somebody down the line, they're going to be coming down here. They get, a Westinghouse or whoever. They're going to have to go to these neutral sites and get on a bus and go do it. And the longer you get in states, closer you get to the state capital, and that's where it all ends at Cumberland Valley. So you might as well get the long bus trips and get used to it now. So we get another look here at what's been going on with Ellwood. Ellwood's on defense right now. Laurel's trying to come up with a stop defensively to get that ball back. And they seem like they're in pretty good control of that. Northgate's trying to answer Neshannock right now, too. There's been big plays right and left in this game early on. This is kind of shaping up to be the game of the night in the county so far. I know we're way early yet, but fireworks galore.
We're just a few minutes up the road from Neshannock High School. Big thanks to the Crane Room Grill, by the way. Basically saying, hey, we got the venue open, come out and do something. Like, hey, we want to do a Red Zone broadcast. What do you think? I said, absolutely, let's go for it. So, yeah, big thanks to them for allowing us to have the CR room open to put the games up on the big screen. We had a couple guys coming in and checking stuff out. It's a lot of fun. This is, again, a very different way to do this, but something that we might be looking to do a little more frequently, Eric, depending on how things end up working the rest of the year.
Yeah, again, this is a nice way to spend a Friday night. Get to watch all the games. Probably would spend time watching most of them anyways. We got a big play in the Laurel game.
Yeah, look at this punt return. Can Guywood get in? Yes, he can.
Goodness.
Oh, my. You said it, Eric. I mean, the offense isn't even quite there yet. We still think they're going to be even better. But my word, what they've done defensively and on special teams, they had a blocked punt return for a touchdown last week. This is a team that I'm still saying I think is one of the top ones. I know they lost to Cannon, but I still think they're one of the top options right now in Class 1A.
I think so, too. And you get into a game later in the season, your defense playing well, that's what you're going to have to rely on to win a game against a powerful offense. Was that James McVicker that had to block down the field for them? He held on to that and didn't get called for it, and that was a brilliant job to free up Guywood. I'll tell you, Tony Guywood, what a start to the season that young man's had.
No kidding. He's only a sophomore. I mean, we're talk about the youth movement going here across Lawrence County.
Yeah, Newcastle's loaded with youth. Laurel's got a couple of key pieces. Neshannock's got a few. This is going to be a sort of a top-heavy flip for them with all these guys that'll graduate. But, they've got some pieces that they'll be able to build around, too, and they're on the march again, too. Oh, man, Aiken just is chewing these guys up early. He looks so sharp right now.
As we take a look at Mohawk real quick, as they're playing down at Geneva College, Reeves Field, great venue there, and a first down pass there from Fadden. Let's head out to Neshannock again. As Aiken and Mazzocco on the ground and throwing Edworthy when necessary as well. Talk about a three-headed monster. And here, even something new, another wrinkle. They throw Nico Mador in every once in a while at the quarterback position, though that play didn't go for much. But just what does that do in terms of putting something on film if nothing else, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they need to do. And I think, Gino Mazzocco last year, his quarterback numbers were fantastic. They were better than what they were when he was a sophomore. But much like Mohawk, I think this team is more built around the running game for sure. And they'll throw the ball, and they'll get the big plays when they throw the ball, no question. But to me, they have to run the football. They got three guys that can do it. I still think we haven't seen the best of Justin Edworthy yet. I think he's going to be really good. But Anthony Aiken right now, it's been his world, and he's putting up some fantasy numbers here early in this contest. By the way, a couple of updates here. So South Allegheny leads South Park 15-0, and it's not really looking good for South Park right now. They've had some problems stopping teams defensively. They can't stop South Allegheny right now. And they're up against it again because South Allegheny is going in here. They're inside the 15, down around the 6-yard line right now, actually. So they're knocking on the door to try to put this thing almost out of reach early on. And Fort Cherry still has a 7-0 lead on Monessen, but they are driving the football. Matt Sieg just had another big run. He's going to have a monster night again tonight. And perhaps he needs 2 more touchdowns to set the WPIL all-time scoring record. So that's either going to happen tonight or next week for sure. Let's see what South Allegheny does here on this possession, as Neshannock still knocking on the door here, and they did just score, so they're kicking the extra point. So they've now taken the lead on Northgate. And the Laurel defense, we said historic night tonight. Jack Miles trying to set the all-time the tackle record held by his father at Laurel. I believe his dad, you told me earlier tonight, is being honored tonight.
Yeah, his dad, Ryan Miles, and his grandfather, George Miles, are both on the coaching staff. Ryan Miles, part of the Hall of Fame induction here from today there at Laurel. Really cool there as well. But, yeah, what's really going to be awesome, so one tackle, he's probably already got it, honestly, at this point. But that one tackle will make him the all-time leading tackler there in Spartan history. And all 4 predecessors expected to be at the game tonight. They're going to try to get a picture with all 5 of them, the last 5 tackle leaders there. Bill Young originally, or I don't want to say originally set the record, but he was the one that had it for the longest time. And then current superintendent, Lenny Rich, held the record for a bit. Todd Atkins then held it. Never heard of him before. Todd Atkins, a future Newton Nittany Lion, now former Nittany Lion. Chris Peluso has had it now for many years. And Jack Miles, just the latest. And what's crazy about it, though, too, Colton Carlson, he has a very good chance to also surpass Peluso. Those two just combined have been so good in terms of the tackles over the course of their 4-year career. Speaking of Jack Miles, right on cue, he's going to take it to the house here as well to extend Laurel's lead up to 19-0. Right on cue, we get to chat about Mr. Jack Miles. But I also want to mention Tyler Fuchs, the guy who had the block punt return for a touchdown. If he stays on this pace, he would also potentially be breaking the record in a couple of years' time. So just a lot of special players.
You can definitely warm that up for him because that kid is a wrecking ball. That's a great move by Miles to get to the outside there and take that to the house. This Laurel team is they're back, and the schedule for them only gets tougher as well. South Allegheny did score, by the way. That game is now 22-0.
Oh, my goodness.
I am personally shutting that off because South Park is not South Park of last year where they can line up and just beat you at the line of scrimmage and control the game clock. That game's over.
Take a look at the other games on Trib Live. How about North Hills all over Fox Chapel early, 21-0. A bit of a surprise in that one there. Hopewell and Avonworth in a low-scoring affair. Ooh, look at this. Coming to you live for a 55-yard field goal attempt, Eric, for Hopewell. I know their kid's got a leg, but 55 yards. Oh, my goodness. It's good. No way.
Well, the specialists now are becoming such a common thing in football. And, I mean, you're seeing it more so at the NFL level where you get the ball late in the game and all you really got to do is just get across to the 45 of your opponent and you're setting up for a 6-yard field goal or whatever. These guys are just kicking things with ease now. And it's become a thing in high school, too. I mean, you remember North Allegheny had the kid that went to Bama. There's teams that are putting together good rapport with their special teams and making sure they have that weapon. That's not easy to do either at the high school level. You're not as fully developed. You don't really see a lot of the kids out of the area. I know we've had a couple that have ended up going to some serious kicking camps, but it's now become a prized possession to have that weapon at your dispense.
I mean, yeah, even Tony Guywood's, a 39, 40-yarder. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of how far he can kick a ball yet. Right, no kidding. And I think that's what's absolutely incredible, too, is how many different teams are getting not necessarily, your pure kicker, but, your athletes who are coming out there and being able to boot 40-yarders. I remember when a 30-yard field goal felt like, if there was a penalty on the point after, you were considering going for 2 from 7 because you didn't have somebody who could kick it, especially in the smaller classifications.
You're exactly right. And, Mohawk had Josh Wilkins, who was fantastic, and obviously he has the lineage. Couple of updates here. Mars leads Montour 7-0. That's in the second quarter now. How about the late first quarter? Penn Hills and Aliquippa are still scoreless. There's about 3.5 to go in the first quarter in that game, and they are still scoreless.
Still scoreless here between Beaver Falls and Mohawk, but Mohawk just converted on a 4th down.
That's surprising. Mohawk needs to come out and, I mean, all due respect to the opponents, but they need to knock somebody in the mouth.
We'll keep an eye on that one as they get close into the red zone. Let's send it out to get some audio there from
struggling this year.
Our friends over at
sort of like Rochester
SportsNet covering that Laurel game.
So it'll be first down and 10, ball at the 19-yard line here for Rochester.
You were still looking for a good block in the trenches sponsored by Adorn Concrete. You can check them out at adornconcrete.com. They laying the foundation for your home for business for over 30 years. AdornConcrete.com.
Goes right up the middle with Henry. And he'll get up to the 20-yard line for a yard gain, and that should do it here for the first quarter. All Spartans here from Spartan Stadium. It's 20-0, leading the Rams. You're watching LC SportsNet, powered by El Cap.
Tonight.
So into the first quarter there, and we're going to take a look real quick as Mars just extended their lead, I should say, there against the Montour Spartans. We'll be seeing them in a couple of weeks when they come up to take on Newcastle. Eric, that's a surprising scoreline to me, but both Montour, and you were telling me before we got on the air tonight, Aliquippa, they're kind of struggling right now in terms of everything going on with their program, still looking for their identity, really.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on with Aliquippa right now. If you follow the news, not really going to get into it, but you can find out what happened there in the last 24 hours. But, they've gone through a lot this season with the junior high team and the bus accident, and a lot of emotion with Mike Warfield coming back to be the head coach there. They've had to replace a lot of parts. They haven't looked like themselves. Avonworth pulled them apart 2 weeks ago. They did rally last week for a big win, and they're having problems right now stopping Penn Hills. And this is not really a surprise to me. We didn't see the best Penn Hills team when they played Newcastle in the opener because they weren't healthy. I mean, Carter Bonner has his arm wrapped up. He's playing now, but he clearly wasn't 100% when he got dinged up. Now, Quips just got a big stop, and they forced a Penn Hills punt, and they're going to get really good starting field position out of it inside the 50. So let's see if Aliquippa can come back. But if you're a young team in Newcastle, but you have pieces, and your guys, all those basketball players are on the football team. They all played for a championship last year in the WPIL. They all made the state playoffs. They understand what it takes to play at a higher level than just the regular season. So there is some of that juice on this team. I just wonder, is next week the week where the program needs a big win? And I don't know if they can get it next week, but I feel a lot more confident about them going into that game, watching some of the struggles that Aliquippa's had here this season. We'll see what happens later in this game here. This is late, but Aliquippa's got good starting field position.
You can see all the scores going across the bottom line, but big one there. How about Shenango looking to make it 3 in a row? They're leading down in Hookstown 7-0 over Southside. That's going to be a quick running game already midway through the second quarter, Eric. But Shenango picking up where they've left off.
And what's the last time they beat Southside was 2013, I believe it was. Matt Sieg just scored a touchdown, and he's now one away from the WPIL record, but he just got in his second touchdown run of the night. So we'll keep an eye on that and what he's able to do here. But, yeah, Shenango, that's an interesting situation for them. And I'm going to be curious to see the stat line after that game is over because their running game was so good. They looked a lot more comfortable last week than what they did again. The Mohawk game was a lot about McConnell at quarterback. And last week it was more about the running game, and it was more about special teams. And, we said it early in the season. If that team could just get a few things to snowball in their direction, then it might turn the corner for them. And I think it's an important game not just to win against a quality opponent like Southside, who's really, been a thorn in everybody's side in that conference, but if you think about what's coming up for Shenango, next week Neshannock, that will not be an easy game. couple weeks they got this Fort Cherry team, which will absolutely not be an easy game. They've got Laurel yet. They're putting themselves in a position where they're going to have some wiggle room, some margin for error, coming up later in the season if they make a run at the playoffs. Now, they're one of those teams at 2-2 that are in the mix. And again, 20 single A teams are 2-2 or better right now in the respective conferences. So they got some work to do because some of these teams are not going to lose. Clareton's probably not going to lose again. Fort Cherry doesn't look like they're going to lose anytime soon again. Monesen's going to suffer their first loss tonight, but at least it looks that way here early. But Shenango's still looking up, but they're doing what they need to do to put themselves in a position to have some margin for error coming up later in the season.
And it looks like Mohawk driving down the field looks like they just lost possession as they were heading into the red zone. So just not a lot going right here early on for Mohawk on the road, Eric, and it's getting a little concerning here for the Warriors.
Yeah, it really is. And you talk about a team that's digging themselves a hole. We said it Wednesday night in the preview show about how they, the coaches must feel confident about what they have there. And again, they see them every day. They understand the position that these players are in. So they have to know what they have and feel good about what they have in most cases. But it's not a good situation. This is a Beaver Falls team that has not been right in 2 seasons. They've had coaching turnover. They've lost everybody from that team that won the WPIL title a couple years ago. They don't even have one holdover from that team that plays significant minutes. And they are just right now not able to establish anything offensively. They're having trouble running the ball. Passing game's not in sync for Mohawk. Their defense is starting to play better, and they played pretty well last week, but they are just not able to do anything with it offensively.
Look at the fact that they just nearly got a fumble recovery there. They weren't able to get to it. I mean, just sometimes the bounces don't go.
No, they don't. And, this team, again, the leadership on this team a season ago, I know, Tim McCutcheon, it was well documented about concerns with the leadership last year, but replacing guys like Jackson Chapman is not easy, and he was such a force for them defensively. And, replacing Blake Logan, who was a force for them on both sides of the ball, that's not an easy thing to do. And I think that he maybe overestimates what the leadership on that team was a season ago. Mohawk's biggest issue for me is not just that they can't run the football, but their best player, Bobby Fadden, is struggling right now at the quarterback spot because they can't run the football. So the guy you want the ball in the hands of every out is not able to, get into a rhythm, has not been on the same page all the time with Joey Nail. So, I mean, it's been tough for them to find a rhythm here. As we keep taking a look at this Mohawk team, we'll get a little extended look at this team right now. What a venue Geneva College is. That's such a fun place to do a game. One of my first ventures with LC SportsNet was there when Ellwood City played Beaver Falls, and an absolute classic 2 seasons ago. Trying to feed it on the sideline. There's just no flow with this passing game right now, and that's a concerning thing, again, because Fadden, the guy you want the ball in the hands of all the time, and they just are not right now in a good rhythm offensively. And this Beaver Falls team, winless, it's been mostly lifeless this season. They have not been competitive in any game they've played so far. So we're watching the other county games too. And Neshannock just got another touchdown. Anthony Beeman taking that one to the house. So the Lancers are adding to their lead, and they are looking good right now. Northgate, again, they can move the ball offensively, and they are an explosive team. Not have the record that they want right now, but they are an explosive unit. We'll get you updates on that game here shortly, but they're lining up to kick the extra point now for Neshannock, and they're in pretty good control of that game going on right now just up the road from us. And down the road from us, though, in Beaver County, we're watching that. And let's see. A couple of other updates here. Monessen just turned the ball over deep in their own territory in Fort Cherry. That was a bad snap that went in the end zone. and Monessen could not get out of the end zone, so they got tackled in the end zone for a safety. I mean, Fort Cherry is just pouring it on right now. They are looking unstoppable. It's 20-0. So it wasn't a safety. It was actually recovered for a touchdown. Mars still leading Montour 13-0. Aliquippa, they've now gone to the second quarter at Heinz Field, and they are still scoreless with Penn Hills right now. That's a developing situation there. Big play for Mars. They are just absolutely steamrolling Montour right now. They are in complete control of that game right now as we go to the 4 window here and show you what's going on around the county with the 4 games. Laurel's in your top left, Mohawk in your top right, Ellwood City in your bottom left, and the Lancers are in your lower right. And, you know, this is live streaming, folks, so our feed there at the Mohawk game is currently up in the air. We don't have a bird like they do with the actual red zone, so we're taking these.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be beautiful if we had that.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there as we switch over and take a look at Laurel as they continue to go. Let's send it down to Tim Continenza and Limon as Laurel has entered the red zone.
Bring down Carlson like that.
It's a good play there by Nico.
Colton Carlson mentioned that big wrestler at Laurel.
So Santini looks like he'll remain underneath center here with 3 back in the backfield. And we're going to have a little early movement on the left side.
Yeah, that's got to be offsides.
Yeah, it looks like
or
I
illegal
think
on
McVicker
Laurel.
may have had the wrong count on that one.
Yeah, play was supposed to be on 3, and he went on 2.5.
That'll cost them 5 yards.
That's going to cost the Spartans 5 yards.
So the ball will be placed at the 24-yard line. It'll be second down and 17 coming up here for Laurel.
So is that gentleman that looked like the painter our fan of the game there, Matt? So he was our fan of the game, or yeah, I like the choice. But with the beach balls going in the student section now.
Santini looking left side, fires over the middle, and it's going to be some contact. And around the 10-yard line.
So pass interference.
There's the
there
beach
as
ball
they take a
floating in the stands.
There it is.
The fans up there, some of the fans of the game. Let's switch it over real quick. Take a look at Ellwood City and how that game is progressing here as Ellwood and Freedom in a tight game there, Eric. We'll try to tune into Thad Sturgeon and Brad Windhurst here in a moment as they get down late in the first half.
Every time. And I think more importantly, they're just not getting any, the Bulldogs defense, there's no push from them as the push from the Wolverines front line.
Wow. So far, Elwood.
Of Reynolds, Vinnie Curie, Eli Moore, Nick Condell, and Drake Davis are moving that line backwards for the running backs to go. Go ahead, Brad.
Yep, Elwood, 20 plays running-wise, 20 rushing plays, 115 yards rushing. It feels like it's more, but then you throw in the passing. Elwood, 30 plays, 220 so far in this first half. Again, though.
Real quick, a touchdown from Laurel as you take out the replay, and then we'll send it back to Ellwood City. Little bubble screen action, something new there. Braden Faulkner looked like getting the touchdown. Like seeing something new, Eric, from the Spartans offense.
Yeah, they continue to evolve. And again, I mean, they've just barely scratched the surface. They didn't have to fight for field position against Ellwood City in the opener.
Goes back to pass. Survey's got some time. Oh, that's not what you wanted to do.
Big sack.
His big number 51 gets in there.
Smiley just
say Sean Williams
find anybody down the field to try to unload it.
For a big-time loss.
I hate when guys obviously you give up the yardage like that.
Credit
but
to Smiley.
At the same time, how about not forcing the throw
out of nowhere?
Stan Bradley calls a timeout there. They're not forcing he's not forcing the throw. He's not trying to fit it into a window and cause his team any further damage. So that was actually, for their sake, you'd think it might turn out to be a But it ends up being a smart play to just take the loss. They got to be confident they can get it back. By the way, Montour has added Mars has added a field goal, so it's 16-0 now.
Yeah, that is just
Montour
incredible.
Team just not, like this is too early to tell if that's going to be a two-team race, but I think we find that out next week.
Newcastle starting to pull away there from Knock, 20-8. Now your score for the Canes as they take on Aliquippa next week. One final tune-up for them as we check out some of the other games across the county here at lcsportsnet.com. Looking for the Wilmington game as they just keep piling on as well, Eric. Now, I haven't seen a pass. I haven't been watching every single play, but I have not seen them throw a pass yet in our watching so far. Take a look real quick now to Mohawk as they got the ball back. They're driving late here in the first half, looking for the first points in that game down at Geneva. First and goal from the 1, it looks like there for the Warriors. Big shout out, by the way, to our crew heading down there. We were able to split crews just enough to be able to get a camera down there for that coverage of that game, allowing us to do this full broadcast. We'll stay here for the first and goal play for the Warriors. And it's going to be a handoff, and Lucas Stratton can't quite get in there. Switch it back over real quick and catch what it's going to be a late play here for Ellwood City in the first half.
See what you can do.
So 55 seconds. Both teams with one timeout.
If they
Smiley
dial
in the
something up with
shotgun,
Smiley
3rd and
here,
17. Back to
had a
pass.
couple
Tries
nice
the dump pass.
throws.
Finds his man, Dom Hope. Up the middle he goes.
Perfectly
Finds a
executed.
seam,
Look at
gets a
that.
block.
Just picking
He
it right
fumbles
back
his,
up. I mean, that's,
stumbles his
I know
way
they didn't get all the
forward.
yardage back
He's got
there,
enough
but
for the
they
first
might actually
down.
think about
Wolverines
going.
with
That's
that
enough for a first
one
down,
timeout.
actually.
They're
They
gonna
did
try
get
to
a
spike
first
you
down.
and
How
ball all
about
the way
that?
down
So we'll
to
get back
the-
to that in a second. Back over to Mohawk as they try to punch it in. They'll again hand it to Lucas Stratton, and it looks like he got his first career touchdown on that handoff up the gut. A Parada Jones McCree touchdown for him. Congratulations, Lucas Stratton, the freshman, coming in big.
Yeah, that's huge for this Mohawk team. They've got to find some kind of offensive punch. And you got another touchdown in the
Neshannock going
game
deep.
too. Again, they're rolling right now. They can't be stopped at this point.
Gets
Switch
down
over to
there,
Ellwood.
got his man there, and
No way.
Oh my goodness!
Daylon Curry. The ball was tipped around.
Are they excited? I can't
and he
tell.
kept his
Eric, my
presence of
goodness.
mind to pull the ball in.
This team's
Great
playing with a lot of
coverage by
confidence
the
right
Freedom
now.
Bulldogs,
Yes.
but better
they are
catch
gonna end up being a
by
6 or 7
Daylon
win
Curry.
team. Which,
Agreed.
Oh
if you
my
told me that at
goodness.
the beginning of the year, I would have
19-yard
thought
pass
no
play.
chance
19
with all
yards
those losses.
Smiley to
Yeah, Penn Hills has
Daylon.
got a
That's
touchdown
his second
in the Aliquippa
TD
game, so
of
they get
the
the first
year,
points of the
his
night.
11th in his career
And
for
let's see, it's
Daylon.
6-0.
He tipped it
Boy, Penn
not
Hills
once, not
looking pretty
twice, but the
confident,
third
too.
time he brought it in. Here's Huth.
And this was a
barbecue
Oh,
sauce.
man.
It's
deep pass,
good.
too.
Wolverine.
That was absolutely incredible. So almost all at once, Mohawk gets their first touchdown. Ellwood City gets a juggling touchdown to end the first half, and Neshannock also with a long touchdown play as well. So we're having a lot of fun here, checking them all out. The other games going on, thanks to the huddle pages, 7-0 still to score, it looks like there for Shenango. Let's take a quick look at the Cats game late in the first half. And that's a game that no matter what the scoreline is, you take the under because the way Southside plays, you're going to get 4 possessions all game if you're lucky.
Well, and this is an important game for Shenango, not just from a win-loss standpoint, but also because we need to see how they react to a team like that. Can they make their possessions count? They certainly did last week, and Avonworth and Hopewell 14-6 right now. Avonworth, we lost the feed on Montour and Mars. That was a 16-0 Mars lead right now. James has the controls of the county teams. I got the controls of the other games out of the area. Some of them we can show you if we tap into Trib. Some of them we can't. So
Yeah, so unfortunately we can't get all of them. But again, big thanks especially to Trib Live. They said, hey, send in any of our games. We want to look at it. The issue is you got games that look something like this. 35-0 North Hills. A bit of a surprise there against Fox Chapel. Hopewell Avonworth, we'll keep an eye on this one because that's a big, fun game between 2 top teams in Class 3A. And Hopewell, with how good they are, they don't win here. They're down to an 0-2 record, Eric.
Yeah, and that's a little bit alarming. I mean, they handled Newcastle when they played them a couple weeks ago. This Avonworth team, I thought it was kind of funny in one of the Pittsburgh papers earlier in the week. They wrote that Avonworth is actually the team that's throwing the 4A class up for grabs because they keep picking these teams off. State runner-up a season ago. They've been to 2 WPIL title games in a row with this crew, and they are certainly hunting for more. That was a fantastic 3A title game last year at the States with them and Northwestern Lehigh. Love to see those two go at it again. Fort Cherries scored again. So they are crushing Monessen right now, 27-0.
27-0 there. And you got the other scores going across your bottom line right now if you're watching here at lcsportsnet.com.
I think the bigger note in that Fort Cherry game, that was not a Matt Sieg touchdown.
Oh.
They've got 2 consecutive touchdowns that are not scored by Sieg, which is like, when's the last time that's happened?
Yeah, a little sad when that's what you got to say. That you're excited when it's not a Matt Sieg touchdown. Here's a stat line for you. Laurel now with a 33-0 lead. The most points ever scored in a game by a single team in that series is 42. Laurel's done it twice, both 42-0 games. I have a feeling the way this is going, we might be seeing that number. That number might be coming to an end.
Yeah, what has just happened to Rochester? It's sad seeing that once proud and great program. Somebody said earlier in the week on some of the social channels about them needing to really look at doing a co-op with somebody, and I don't know that that's a bad idea.
I mean, I think you can say that about a lot of 1A schools.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you go up north. I mean, a few of them have started to do that. Your options are co-op or do what Kennedy Catholic's doing as an 8-man crew. I'd say I wanted to tap into that one. We are actually considering going and broadcasting an 8-man game tonight, Eric, because that's something different, something new. That's what we're doing here. That's why we're doing this Red Zone broadcast here, brought to you by the Red Zone, going around the county here at the Crane Room Grill. Big thanks again to everybody here. And what I love, too, how many people have we seen come peek their head in? They want to see what's going on with all the games. So this might become more of a regular happening around the county, Eric, the way things are looking.
Yeah, this has been fun tonight watching these. I wish some of these games were better.
Yeah.
Like Laurel, I mean, this game's over, but I'll tell you the other one that we got on here that's been interesting is this Mohawk game and their inability to be consistent offensively. I think we're seeing that shift a little bit after that last touchdown. They got a big stop defensively, no damage done to them on the scoreboard. This Beaver Falls team is struggling, and I don't care that Mohawk's got quote unquote the easier games coming up on their schedule. They got games they should all win, and if their defense continues to progress like it is, and Lucas Stratton gets more confident running the football, winning out for them is not off the table.
Oh, no, not at all.
I mean, Western Beaver has been really good, and their defense has been really good, and their running attack is outstanding. But that is certainly not off the table for them, as it looks like Ellwood and Freedom have gone to the half.
Yeah, 14-7 your halftime score there, so we'll switch back up. Laurel 33-0 as you check that one out. Again, big thanks to everyone at Laurel High School. Again, if you tuned in late, you can go watch that live stream in its entirety, especially with the presentation for the new Hall of Fame members. Word also as well, Newcastle is going to be starting their first class of the Sports Hall of Fame. God, you got 125 years worth to try to figure out who you're going to induct in that first class. You're not going to be able to get that one correct.
I think there's 2 right off the bat that come to mind to me that should be in the first class, and they're both in the NFL right now.
That's very true, but I mean, my word. I'm going to be curious how many they actually put in that inaugural class there, Eric, because you're going to see you're going to have a tough time really differentiating who does and who doesn't get into that first group.
I think the question to me with the Newcastle Hall of Fame is how fast will they put Tim Continenza in it?
Well, if Shazi doesn't get in it, then we have a good fight for it. I mean, he lived and breathed Newcastle basketball for forever, it felt like. 6-0 there, a halftime score for Mohawk Beaver Falls.
Look out. Neshannock's on the board. They're going to be on the board again, and it's Aiken again. Boy, this was all the way. This has got to be at least 60 yards. I mean, this was over the middle and just a little dump off, and he Yeah, who has jets like that right now?
Again,
The president? I mean, who's got jets like that?
I'm gonna keep saying it, Eric. I'm gonna say in the end that not having a game last week is actually gonna help them because of the fact they could rest up a little bit. Not that they were like in dire straits or anything, but those first 3 games were tough games to have to go through, and you could tell that especially maybe Mazzocco just not in full force.
Got a block punt in the Laurel game too.
My word.
They are just naming their price right now. So is Neshannock, too. Oh, man, that Anthony Aiken touchdown was
Going to call out Aaron Vigiano, not getting us an instant replay out there, but getting us great views. Thanks to the Neshannock YouTube page for allowing us to tune in there.
Avonworth 21-6 over Hopewell.
And check out our social media pages, guys, because this has been a fun time trying to keep track of all of them, to be honest. Shout out to Tweety Bird, as she was able to update all 3 of those touchdowns in about a 15-second span as well. And she's tweeting from afar as Nathan Hill's going to get another touchdown and extend that Laurel League into Mercy Rule territory.
Another Mercy Rule for them, so that's going to be another quick night for Laurel. And they're I can't get over how good this team is. Not surprising, but it just can't get over. Still, it's sometimes tough to believe that they're this good. And I say this again, like, I don't think we've seen the best of their offense. That's a scary thought. I mean, this last touchdown set up by the block punt, another block punt by this Laurel special teams unit. And that's the other thing. I've seen teams, I broadcasted a team for 12 years that won a state title basically on special teams. I mean, they did it against North Allegheny in the semifinals with a field goal to win it, but played field position. Their punt unit was great. They basically did it in all 3 phases of the game. And that's what I'm seeing in this Laurel team. And I can't stress to you how important that is at that level too. When you have all 3 phases of the game at the single A level, really if you have it at the double A level too, but specifically single A where, athletes seem to be at a premium. Not everybody has a Matt Sieg. Not everybody has, this like a Gino Mazzocco type player where they can sort of do everything. But you're beating teams with defense, with offense, and special teams, and you're single A.
3 phases. I mean,
that is remarkable that they can put that together. This team is just like they've got everything, and we still have not seen the defense have to play a full game. They did last week. They played the full game last week, but I mean actually have to play the full game to beat a team. We haven't seen them have to do that to go back to the four-game window. Hey, look, there's where we are. Interesting. But they just haven't had to put together a full 48 minutes yet on any side of the ball. And I think that's a scary thought. So we get a look at all 4 games going on right now. Mohawk, Beaver Falls, they're at the half. Freedom and Ellwood at the half. Neshannock's going to be at the half here shortly, and Laurel is over. That Neshannock game is over as well. And actually, I mean, you probably say that the Newcastle game is over too. Well, these teams tonight are just putting on clinics. That is a good thing to see. So we talk a little bit about what's coming up for Newcastle and Aliquippa next week. By the way, Avonworth has scored again. They are just blowing the doors off Hopewell tonight. This is a Hopewell team that, a week ago, James Armstrong, the quarterback, 600 offense. He was better on the ground than he was through the air, and he was tremendous through the air. And speaking of tremendous, Matt Sieg is now your all-time WPIL scoring champ because he just took it to the house again. So that's his 3rd touchdown of the night, 33-0 Fort Cherry over Monessen. So that's just a sample of what the single-A teams in our area are going to have to deal with at some point down the line. Shenango does get them later in the season, but Neshannock could see them. Laurel could see them as well. There's going to be a gauntlet of some sorts on that single A side for somebody. You know, one of our teams is going to have to go through Clairton and Fort Cherry, or Clairton and one of the other top teams, California maybe, on the same side of the bracket, and that's going to be brutal. Go first round home game, and then one of those teams in the second round, and then another team in the semi if they make a run. You're going to have an offense to beat them. And we know Neshannock does, and we know Laurel has potential to do it. Question will be if Shenango does, and we're going to find out coming up in about 4 weeks when they tangle in the penultimate game, the regular season.
And that game right there, Eric, is a 7-7 game just before the half. We got the Union game up and running. They trail 19-7, or excuse me, 19-8. It looks like they're late in the first half. Let's jump in and take a look at that one. 19-6, excuse me. The score is Western Beaver trying to drive down late in the first half, and it looks like Union doing, unfortunately, what they've done now for 3 straight games, where they're able to get things going on the opening drive, but then kind of stuttering and stalling the rest of the way.
That's been the most frustrating thing about them, is the fact that it's like they go all in for the 6 or 7 plays on an opening drive, and they look great.
Hey, but right on cue. How about that? We flipped to them, and they were able to get a turnover in the red zone.
How about that?
That's Isaac Casciato getting the fumble recovery for the Scotty. So
that's big.
Hey, you take little things anytime you can get them. So that's a big win right there for Union.
Hanging around. We got a kickoff return to the Neshannock game as well. Northgate's taking that to the house. They got a little bit of life in that game, but it's going to be too little too late. And this is exactly what happened to them a week ago against Shenango. They, at the end of the game, the final score does not look as bad as that game was, because that game was no contest in the first 24 minutes.
Let's send it back out real quick, because I don't think we're going to be able to hear much of him in the second half. Let's, I guess, why not? Let's listen to Tim and Lee for a little bit here. Apologies there. We're getting the Ellwood City Marching Band during their halftime performance. We'll clean that up here in a second. But this Laurel team, Eric, yeah, I'm feeling confident about the way that they are playing overall. Like you said, I don't think they've played anywhere close to their best to their best offensive game so far.
And it creeps into your mind that you worry a little bit about if they got to go a full 48 minutes against somebody to drag it out. They're going to have to do that here against Southside. They're going to have to do that against Neshannock without question. The Shenango game is going to be an emotionally charged game. They're going to probably have to do it in that game too, given that we've now seen a lot of fight out of the Shenango team these last couple of weeks. So, they're going to get their test. We're going to find out if they are a true 48 minutes.
Put the ball in the air, though.
Just because of how hard they continue to play.
Put the ball in the air,
Last
maybe
week,
get a first down.
Hand it off again. And he'll go
And Rochester's trying to make their way
41-yard line.
Hey, they're
down the field. Their best drive of the game so far.
Game of the night's the Ellwood City game right now.
It is. That game, 14-7, your halftime score. Still in the halftime break there. We'll get you back out to that one.
I say this. The game of the night right now is Penn Hills and what they're doing to Aliquippa, because they're still up 7-0, and there's a minute 10 to go in the first half. This is now going to be 2 halves in a row potentially in which Aliquippa has been shut out in 2 weeks. They are getting pushed around the field physically. They are not able to sustain drives. This Penn Hills defense is firing right now. Now, Aliquippa's driving in this game here late in the first half. They need this touchdown in the worst way. They have got to get 7 on the board here late in this first half. Otherwise, this game, it's not over at 7-0 because they could explode in a heartbeat.
It looks like a timeout called there with about 30 seconds remaining.
Well, they got a flag that came in, so this might be against the Quips. And again, we've got some feeds that we are unable to tap into, so you're just going to have to.
Yeah, we'll give you the radio call for that one.
Yep, we'll guide you through it as best we can. This flag was on Aliquippa, so there's 36 seconds left in the half. And this game, by the way, is at Heinz Field, so this is at Aliquippa.
And they're down 7-0. Clock winding, down 24 and counting as the Quips take the snap. Give you a little radio call. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, and here we go. Quippa, good. The quarterback's going to get out of bounds right at the 30. Another flag comes in with 15 seconds left. There's going to be a hold, it looks like, on Aliquippa and push him back again.
So we'll keep tabs on that one. We're watching right now Mars and Montour in a battle. Looks like Spartans trying to defend, not give up any late points there in the first half. So those are the next two opponents right now for the Canes, and both are facing deficits right now. Quip's down 7-0 to Penn Hills, and here Montour trailing 16-6.
Yeah, this hold went against Aliquippa, so this is going to back them up 10 from the spot. They were already pushed back to the 40 because of a flag initially. There was just a mugging up front. And really, here's the unfortunate part about it is the hold is away from the play, and you hate seeing that. It's a good call by the officials because it clearly was a hold, but your quarterback has scrambled out of the pocket away from the play. He didn't take off the direction of the hold, which he could have and probably got more yards. Would have been obvious at that point. He goes the opposite way, and the official from the side throws the flag. They're backed up near midfield now with 15 seconds to go in the half.
Following Neshannock now as they're down to one final play in the first half. Can they put it back into the mercy rule? And it looks like it's, again, Medor who's going to be the quarterback, the keeper, and he's going to get close to the end zone, but going to be tackled inside the 10-yard line. So we got to keep track of that one, too, because we've seen a lot of number 2 there in the backfield at quarterback for Neshannock tonight. Whether that's by design or not, we'll try to get you an update on that one. But looks like our 4 of the county games, as you see there, are currently in the halftime break. When you look at these other county games, 3 of the 4 going into the locker room as well. The only game still going on is this one here of Wilmington with a 28-0 lead, and they are going to the locker room as well. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break ourselves. We're going to get a bite to eat here at the Crane Room, get a couple of drinks, and get ready for the second half of play.
Not those kind.
No, the water. The water here. Well, I don't have the camera set
just
up.
Making
for
sure.
you.
Just making sure.
I appreciate that, and I'm sure I'm sure everybody there at LCAP does as well. We'll keep you posted. Stay tuned. Hope you're enjoying this. It's Around the County, your Red Zone style broadcast here from the Crane Room. It's LC SportsNet, powered by LCAP.
Having a safe and healthy home is not something to play games with, especially if your home was built before 1978. You may be exposed to extremely harmful lead-based paint hazards. If you're concerned about lead in your home, don't roll the dice on your family's safety. LCAP's Healthy Homes Lead Hazard Reduction Program is here to help you win the battle. Your family's health and safety is the goal. Contact the Department of Healthy Homes today.
Nominations are now being accepted for the LCAP Team of the Month and the LGKG Male and Female Athlete of the Month. Log on to lcsportsnet.com/awards to nominate your favorite team or athlete today.
Thank you for calling AXE. Where can we take you today?
To work, to the store, to Grandma's house. AXE can get you there, but it's much more than a ride. It's a joyride.
I'm helping people. I'm getting them out of their house. I'm taking them to their doctors, to the grocery store.
They say I'm entertaining. Okay, we laugh, we joke, we sing, we tell stories.
They're like family to us.
Even if it's the same day, to schedule your joyride, call AXE today.
When it comes to shopping for insurance, there are thousands of options out there. MVP Insurance proactively shops and compares your policies to find the best coverage and rate. Josh Madure and David Verratti want to provide you with the level of personalized service that you know that you are the MVP of their agency. They simplify insurance so you can live stress-free. Visit one of the locations in Zingleople or in New Springfield, Ohio. Call MVP for the win. Proud sponsor of the MVP of the game on the Lawrence County SportsNet.
When the high school season heats up, make sure you have the best gear to support your school. Head to the Red Zone on Wilmington Road in Neshannock for all your county sporting apparel needs. From sporting goods to custom apparel to embroidery and more, the Red Zone has it all. Quality gear for all 8 schools in the County of Champions. Stop by and enter the Red Zone or visit them online at theredzonesports.com. Score big at the Red Zone.
Your hip, your knee, your shoulder, whatever has been holding you back, UPMC Orthopedic Care is where you'll find experts to help you get back to a better quality of life. UPMC is pioneering minimally invasive surgeries, and we offer personalized treatment plans and same-day surgery to get you home and moving sooner. It's your ankle, your elbow, your hand, and it's your move. Visit upmc.com/ortho to learn how UPMC can help.
For 20 years, Melee Chiropractic has treated athletes of all ages to help them get safely back to the top of their game. Melee Chiropractic has 3 full-time doctors in their office, and all 3 are former area athletes who have had to battle injuries throughout their careers. They want to help you get safely back on your feet. But more importantly, help stop the injuries before they happen. Prehab before you rehab. Attention all high school student athletes. During your sports season, a $30 visit to the Melee Chiropractic office includes an adjustment and/or all therapy is necessary. From the athletes of tomorrow to the weekend warriors and everything in between. Let Melee Chiropractic keep you in the game.
Tired of gasoline costs? Why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Serving the city of Newcastle and stops throughout Lawrence County, as well as weekday service to Pittsburgh. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or for route schedules, log on to newcastletransit.org. The Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
Since 1911, the City Rescue Mission has been serving our community by providing food for the hungry, shelter for the homeless, and hope for the lost. We continue to love all that come through our doors, extending mercy and providing grace just as God has done for each of us, serving with a compassionate heart and sharing the good news of the gospel and the hope we all have in Jesus Christ, just like we've done since 1911. We can't do this alone, and we continue to need your help.
At Medore Bonner Law, we're more than just attorneys. We're your community partners. With a combined experience that spans decades, attorneys Jason Medore, Michael Bonner, and Greg Rossitelli are your trusted advisors for all legal matters. From personal injury to estate planning, business law to family disputes, we are here to guide you through every step of the legal process. Our full-service, community-based approach ensures that you're not just a client, but a valued member of our family. Give us a call or visit us online at MedoreBonnerLaw.com for more information.
GEM building contractors and developers have a proven record of performance on any size project. They bring value, local craftsmanship, expert management to meet any challenge. From design construction, from inspection to budget estimation, GEM Builder has been building our community for 70 years.
When it comes to protecting those you love, the businesses you've built, or the things you've earned, you need someone you can trust. Who better to protect your interests than a local insurance agent? Pontius Insurance is a team of local agents helping local residents in Lawrence County and surrounding areas, specializing in auto, home, business, and life insurance. Come see Dan Pontius, Jessica Dix, and Tracy Giddings, and the rest of the team at Pontius Insurance, and receive the personalized service you deserve. Castle Asphalt and Construction is driven to provide quality, cost-efficient pavement-related services to Western Pennsylvania. Every paving or construction service at Castle Asphalt begins with a thorough site inspection of the area to allow their team of professionals to become familiar with the unique conditions of your home or business. Once the site inspection is complete, Castle Asphalt provides you with a detailed plan of the design, cost, materials, and time of completion, so you know exactly what to expect during your construction. Visit castleasphalt.com to request a quote for your next project and make your dream design come to fruition. Back here on Around the County, here in Lawrence County SportsNet. A lot of games here at halftime. Those are 4 county games. You see all the scores going across the bottom line. The Ellwood City game about to get back underway as one of the county games back underway as well. Your scores going across the bottom line. So right now, Laurel leading 40-0. Neshannock leading 49-14. So those are 2 games in the Mercy Rule. Good one at Ellwood City with the score there of 14-7. Shenango and Southside tied. We'll keep an eye on that one in the second half. Newcastle 20-0. We're now hearing the score. The cameras that they gave us, not the greatest ones there. So we will confirm that score for you as well. What we're going to do is we're going to send you out to Ellwood City Sports for a little bit. Brad Sturgeon, excuse me, Thad Sturgeon and Brad Winhurst on the call of that one for the start of the second half of Ellwood City and
Carter
Freedom.
Brown, 4 for 7, 1 touchdown along a 16, but only 38 yards. On the flip side, Tyler Smiley, 8 of 13, 142 along a 53, and more importantly, Thad, 2 passing touchdowns to 0. That's a 2-to-0 ratio on touchdowns to turnovers. And then finally, we're going to have a 100-yard receiver, and he's already in the books with that number, Dom Hogue, 6 catches, 116, along a 53 and 1 touchdown. Dalen Curry, 1 for 19, and then Dom Danucci, 1 for 7. Again, 8 catches, 142, and more importantly, Dom and Dalen, with that connection, 2 touchdowns, 1 apiece. So there you go. Defensively leading the charge for the Wolverines. 5 tackles so far, 1 for a loss is Colton Golo. And on the flip side, Caden Bailey, 6 tackles for Freedom. Some out-of-town scores here in the MAC Conference. Halftime, Mohawk leads Beaver Falls. Mohawk looking to go 2-3 and 1-1 in section play. Riverside all over New Brighton. My goodness, unfortunately for New Brighton, it looks like it's going to be back-to-back losses. They're going to fall to 3-2. Riverside, scary little number there. They're 3-2, 2-0 in section play if they win. They're up 27-0 at halftime. Western Beaver starting to pull away a little bit on Union. It's 19-6. Give credit to the Union Scotties keeping it close. Again, 19-6, the Beavers. Out-of-town scores, South Allegheny all over South Park, 22-7. The Big 7, yeah, we said it was going to be lopsided. It is 49-7. Neshannock over Northgate. That just hit halftime. So that one's pretty well wrapped up. Laurel, 40-0. That wasn't even close to halftime. In fact, it was 40-0. I think that was the first quarter score. So it could be 49-0 Laurel at halftime possibly there. Shenango and Southside, they're in a barn burner here, 7-7 apiece. A tight one going on down at Southside. And finally, the last score here, Newcastle up on Knock, 20-8. Thad, we said some lopsided scores were going to happen. Give credit, though. Mohawk, Beaver Falls, 6-0. Southside, Shenango, apiece. Interesting.
We both kind of predicted a close one here, and that's what we have, 14-7. Brad, hey, we want to welcome our friends at Lawrence County SportsNet.
Yep.
They got us, Dotson and the gang there. Got the red zone thing going on and catching all the great Lawrence County teams in action tonight. So shout out to those viewing us via the red zone, via Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP.
There you go.
So, Dotson, great job covering Lawrence County.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal. He's going to stick around with us, I think, because we got a good one going here. It's 14-7. Freedom will be receiving a kick. And
he waved.
He waved, and I think he was waiting for a whistle as soon as he caught it. It didn't happen, so he didn't know what to do. I can't fault the young man for moving. And he's going to get the ball with the fair catch. What? I think the officials are a little bit discombobulated.
I'm wondering if they weren't expecting that, just period.
No, and I mean, quite frankly, I thought after the last time when he fumbled it, I thought, just call for the fair catch, bud.
Well, on top of it, should be 12 minutes up on the board, but I think everybody was like, well, they didn't blow the whistle, so...
Well, I should say I did not hear the whistle. But, hey, shout out to Freedom. A nice crowd over there to watch their team tonight, and they're watching a good one. Here we go. Freedom coming out here, getting the ball. And,
Colton Golo.
Colton Golo, TFL for a loss as he takes down Caden Bailey behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 3. Golo, he's coming in here. I want to think that is his 4th tackle for a loss, 6th tackle for a loss so far on the season. And Declan O'Brien not far behind with 5.
In fact, we were talking about it right before we did the halftime stats. If you're Ellwood, you're looking to get a 3-and-out as quickly as possible, and you're trying to get that scoreboard out of reach here on defense.
Yes, you are. Now 2nd and 13. Ball on the 25-yard line. Going to try to swing it out this time. Cuts up the middle and not fooled.
No.
And a nice job there by number 4, Dom Danucci, to take down Carter Brown. Carter Brown's having a good night, but you take out that 134-yard run.
We're back here on Beyond the Scoreboard from the Crane Room Grill, coming to you live as we go around the county for all of the big games. A couple of them kicking off here in the second half. Beaver Falls trailing Mohawk 6-0, and you were just listening to ECS as Ellwood City leading 14-7. We're going to try to flip over here when the time hits right to get the announcement of the Neshannock homecoming queen. How about that? We're going to get a little different way that way to get a recognition of our homecoming queen. Hopefully Don Rebel has his bell ready to ding at the end of tonight.
Speaking of Don Rebel, don't forget, are you doing that show tonight?
Good question.
Because what would you talk about?
I don't know. I would have to talk about a lot of different things, that's for sure.
I can go on there and I can tell Don about how good this kielbasa is about to be.
That sounds pretty good to me.
That's the key. You know, this first half with Aliquippa and Penn Hills, I was just talking to a group of my friends that I communicated with back in the Harrisburg region. We all, were on a text throughout the whole day. But I just told them, I said, this first half by Penn Hills was completely dominant. I have not seen, a couple years ago when McDevitt and Aliquippa met in the state final, and McDevitt went point for point with them, just came up a possession short, and then beat them the next year for the state final. That's the last time I've seen an Aliquippa team get basically pushed around like this. They were never going to beat McDevitt that second time they played. And I have not seen an Aliquippa team get this done to them. This Penn Hills team is firing on all cylinders. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. And it's only 7-0, so you kind of worry from a Penn Hills standpoint, we need to do more offensively. And especially because Aliquippa just came back to win a game last week when they trailed at the half, too. I think they were shut out in the first half in that game, too. But, there's some concern here if you're Aliquippa. This is not the dominant team. This is more of a kind of, hey, we're still good, but we might not be that good right now team. This Penn Hills team's dominating them right now. And that proves to me two things. Number one, Newcastle played very well defensively, even though they were shorthanded, Penn Hills, in that game. But two, you have to go back to the fact that Penn Hills was shorthanded in that game because these guys are now a factor for them. Little John, who missed that Newcastle game, has the touchdown for him tonight. Going to be some quick second halves here.
The daughter of Shane and Nicole Lanigan. Her activities include
Hear a little bit of the homecoming court being addressed there at Neshannock, and we'll turn it over to that for the announcement of the homecoming queen. Eric, what are some of the other scores you're seeing that are surprising? Obviously, the Fort Cherry one to me is a bit of an outlier. I was not expecting them to be that far ahead tonight.
No, I didn't think it'd be 34-0. I thought Monessen would put up a little bit more of a fight. They had two really good possessions in the first half, and Fort Cherry just overpowered them. Fort Cherry went right down the field to start that game and got a Sieg touchdown, long run for a touchdown. And then Monessen had moved the ball right up to the other side of midfield. They stalled out on the drive. Fort Cherry got the ball back. They stalled out. Monessen then gives it right back to him on a bad snap. They recovered in the end zone as Fort Cherry for the lead, so extend the lead. So it's just been Monessen's been able to do nothing offensively against them. And I got to be honest, too, the other game that really is shocking me, I thought Hopewell would be a lot more competitive against Avonworth. They're getting pulled apart right now. Lopes are maybe the best team in the WPIL at this point. They got to feel like they can do that. They might be able to compete with just about anybody right now.
Looks like Mohawk able to get a turnover there, Eric, as we flip over to Reeves Stadium.
Yeah, this Mohawk team's got to show me some moxie here in the second half. This is only what is it now? Still 6-0. I mean, they've got to come to play here in this second half. They've got to put a team away and this is a game that they should win 7-0. I beg your pardon. This is a game that they should win on paper. They should win on the field, but they've got to go and they've got to take it. There is no, for them, no margin for error right now. And the way they have to play these games, just because this is a winless Beaver Falls team that hasn't done anything in 2 years, you got to step on the gas against them.
Right, because the last thing, too, I mean, Ellwood City was in that situation a couple of years ago, and it's that close from going to, no wins in 2 years to being all of a sudden one win away from a WPIAL championship game.
Yep, absolutely. Mohawk still has everything in front of them. They can still play for a title, if they're fortunate enough to get through the rest of it unscathed. But
the gorgeous crown for tonight's homecoming has been generously
this team
donated
has
by
to
Blockers
show that they can
Ellwood
still
City.
put it into
They
another
have been
gear.
creating
That's
memories
what I
since
want to see.
1907. Visit them in Ellwood City. And now, the moment you've all been
Here
waiting
it comes,
for.
the homecoming
Your
queen.
2025 homecoming queen is Nina Mador.
Nina Mador is the homecoming queen there at Neshannock. Congratulations to her.
Presented with a dozen roses from student
Only here
government.
on a Red Zone broadcast
On
did you
behalf
get
of the administration, faculty,
a homecoming
staff,
queen announced
students of
as well as
Neshannock
part
High
of the festivities here for our Red Zone broadcast. Eric's going to go and step away for a little bit because he's got some yummy deliciousness coming here at the Crane Room. Again, big thanks to Mike and everybody here taking care of us, getting this all up and running. All of the games on Trib Live right now, they are all in the halftime break. Ellwood City game, the first one, back up and running here, as well as the Mohawk game against Beaver Falls. We'll keep tabs of all those as well. We always as well have these 4 games courtesy of the huddle cameras of the various schools. There, Newcastle and Knock 20-0 the score at the halftime break there for the Canes and the Knights. 7-7 your score in the bottom left there of Southside and Shenango. It's going to be a fun second half to keep track of there. 19-6 your halftime score, Western Beaver leading Union, and up in Ohio, a 28-0 lead for Wilmington over Grand Valley. And again, the over-under of 0 pass attempts, we believe, is still in effect. It is 8-minute running clocks, Eric, there at the Laurel game, so that will be an even quicker second half. We saw that with Newcastle's game last week. Not a terrible surprise. Get in, get out, and call it a night, especially when you are so shorthanded like that.
I flipped over here, too, to watch this McKeesport Upper St. Clair game. This is 7-3. They're going to start the second half here shortly. Big in the sense that, come on, Spell's still not playing for McKeesport. That's a team we should keep an eye on simply because they may run into Newcastle possibly in the playoffs. But, yeah, these 8-minute clocks, I like that move. Get these guys off the field. Don't risk any kind of health. And, this game has never been out of question whatsoever.
Yeah, and frankly, we kind of expected it to be that way. But, I mean, look, Lori Heights needed to get Limon a little bit of her banana bread, so... If nothing else, that's good enough reason right there to send Lee and Tim out there for some Lori Heights food. The only reason Eric and I aren't here is because, we got to be here instead to enjoy some Crane Room food while we're watching all the games.
On his way forward as Caden Bailey going to be well short of the first down as Tyler Amicone was in there to put the final lick on him. And I do believe the punt unit's coming out. So Wolverines defensively, ask and you shall receive. The Freedom Bulldogs have had 2 drives so far, and they've netted 3 yards in those 2 drives.
If you're Ellwood, once again, you get this ball with just 6 minutes left. Let's finish this one off.
In the third quarter, yep. There's the kick. Oh, high.
Wow,
hang time. And a nice catch and well played there by Dom Hogue at the
Well, unfortunately, we're going to be
yard
kind of like the new Red Zone. We're going to take a quick timeout as well. We'll get back as the second half kicks off for most of the rest of the county here across the county, around the county at lcsportsnet.com.
Attorneys Parada, Jones, and McCree are dedicated to giving their clients the best chance at a positive result. From personal injury criminal and corporate law, real estate, municipal law, to wills and estates, their team will work with you through every step of the legal process. With Parada, Jones, and McCree, excellence is our guarantee.
Nick's Auto Body, trust your body in our hands. From a scratch to a dent to a major repair, Nick's your man. Making your car look as good as new. Nobody does it better than Nick's Auto Body. Trust your body in our hands. Nick's Auto Body, trust your body in our hands.
Whether you're hosting a big party, it's family dinner night, or you just need a place to go and watch the big game, the Crane Room Grill is the place to be. Need that something special for your upcoming event? Ask about the CR Brewing Company's custom brewing options to give your big day that personalized touch that your guests will never forget. Visit craneroom.com to see their full menu, or call in your takeout order now at 724-656-1553. The Crane Room Grill and CR Brewing Company, a winning combination.
And making our way back here around the county, quickly down to Industry, PA, as Western Beaver gets on the board with an opening kickoff return for a touchdown, extending their lead against Union. We'll keep track of that one, as well as the 7-7 game, big one between the Cats and Southside. But for now, let's head back out to Ellwood City.
There, touchdown. It's 20-7 for the Wolverines. Extra point forthcoming at the 5:09 mark. That was a thing of beauty.
For Ellwood.
Awaits the snap. Good snap. Oh, honey mustard, it's good. Wolverines up 21-7. We'll be right back, folks.
To take the lead. And it looks like we got a good shossy toss there at Laurel as well, because, of course, why not? Beaver Falls driving. They've gotten into the red zone now. Still trailing 6-0 in that one. Beaver Falls design run up the gut, and that's what we were just talking about, Eric and I, about the fact that you can't, if you're Mohawk, you're giving up too much in the gut. You're not getting a good running game offensively or defensively, and Beaver Falls has basically just plowed it right down the field, running it up the gut over again. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Let's switch over real quick to the Shenango game, as it looks like they're driving down the field again. Here early in half, and now, of course, as soon as I say that, they start marching it backwards due to a penalty. And again, we're getting just the video streams, so you can't hear a lot, and you can tell even the scoreboard. It's all about whatever internet signal is there and what cameras we're able to get from huddle streams, especially across the county and beyond. So big thanks to everybody for allowing us to tap into all these. As you see now, all the games back underway across Lawrence County here for the second half. 8-minute clock for the games going on the rest of the way for Laurel, that is. Let's tap back in as they're getting ready for the second half. But Beaver Falls on the doorstep, 1st and goal, looking to tie or maybe take the lead and looking for their first win in almost 2 years. It looks like Mohawk able to keep them out for now. Held just shy of the end zone. Again, this is the fun we get to have, folks. We get to have all sorts of games on your screen at once. Back here to the Mohawk game, 2nd down and goal. Can the Warriors get a defensive stand that they need? power I here for the Tigers. They're just going to go quarterback sneak and looking for a signal, and there it is. It is a tie game. Beaver Falls and Mohawk, PAT pending here, Eric, and look out. Mohawk might be in a little bit of danger.
You can't let these teams stick around, and especially a Beaver Falls team that has looked kind of lifeless in some of these games this season, but they are just they pushed their way around on that drive against Mohawk, and that's not a good sign. That's not the type of Mohawk defense that we've been used to seeing. By the way, we talked about the domination in the first half of Penn Hills. They only have 2 yards rushing in this contest against Aliquippa. And Aliquippa's also thrown for 143 yards, so they're outgaining Penn Hills. But when I tell you that this has been a dominant effort by Penn Hills, the turnovers, they haven't given up any plays. Aliquippa's barely been in the red zone in this game, and Penn Hills still hanging on to that 7-0 lead. They're about to kick off there in the second half.
So for the record, that was not a touchdown, Eric. It's the first time I've ever seen it called. I had to go and check the rule book and make sure. Beaver Falls touchdown was called back for helping a runner who was interlocked. You technically cannot do a tush-push. I can't believe that it hasn't been called more often, frankly. You're not allowed to assist a runner who is held up. Now, if you're pushing from the beginning before you're held up, you can maybe get away with it. Unable to do so on that one was Beaver Falls. So that touchdown off the board, the NFHS official rule, helping a runner interlocked with blocking.
Got a couple of score updates for you from out of the area. That's South Allegheny South Park game, 42-7 South Allegheny. Mars still leads Montour 19-6, and Bishop Canevin leads Cornell 30-0. So the other one that's a little interesting right now, Ringgold and Southmoreland are tied at 7. Southmoreland's actually played pretty well given everything that happened there with Anthony Smith, the starting quarterback, trying to transfer over to Seton LaSalle and was ruled ineligible, and then he went somewhere else at this point, but I don't recall where he actually ended up, but not playing football this year. One of the top quarterbacks in the WPIL, and he is, I do not believe, playing football this season.
So still in a timeout. It's going to be second down at the 5-yard line, basically 5 and an inch line there for Beaver Falls. Get you back out there in a moment. Still a defensive struggle for Ellwood City. Neshannock in a running clock, and they're continuing to run. Look at Aiken go yet again, Eric, with a stiff arm for good measure into the red zone there for Neshannock. But back over to Beaver Falls as they try to score the first points for them in the game, and we're going to have a pass that is thrown out of bounds, so it'll be third down now. Fadden in the coverage. Can Mohawk hold tight? And as soon as we turn away from the Ellwood City game, Freedom looks like they have a big run. Down the field they go. Waiting for an official call on that. So back to Beaver Falls. Dragging forward. Now the rugby scrum begins again. And it looks like they're going to be held out. Foundation holding strong. 4th and goal. And a chance for Beaver Falls maybe to get their first points of the game.
This is a huge defensive possession here from Mohawk. They got to get out of here unscathed. Your Beaver Falls, you got to go all in here at this point. And, you're going to do what you need to do to try to get some wins here. But this is, I hate to overstate it, James, but this is pretty much the biggest play of the season for Mohawk right here.
And they have somebody going off the field with a cramp as well, so not the time for that. We'll get back to that one in a moment. Neshannock driving down the field, Freedom moving back, but still at the edge of the red zone in that game. So we'll keep tabs of all those at the same time as we'll go quad screen here.
Upper St. Clair has taken the lead on McKeesport 10-7. That McKeesport team, a lot of people thought they were going to be one of the favorites for the WPIL title, and then with Kamon Spell, who got hurt in practice leading up to the Peters Township game a couple weeks ago, so it was not even in a game, and then people turn up at the Peters Township game wondering where he is, not having a clue that he had gotten hurt. So He not being there after that explosive start this year in the showcase at the Wolverina, he has been a non-factor, and this McKeesport offense continues to struggle without him.
4th and goal from inside the 1-yard line, back out to Reeves Field.
This is huge right here. I mean, again, this is like right now the biggest play of the season for Mohawk.
And they're going to go QB sneak, and they're going to get in this time.
That was academic. This Beaver Falls team does not have the studs up front on the offensive line like they did a couple years ago. Remember when they caused, they come back and they beat Neshannock on that 2-point conversion in the playoffs. They had that great regular season game. They had the great regular season game with Ellwood City. They had the good regular season game with Mohawk. Mohawk, beat them in that game, but they don't have
left side,
the
gobbled
size
up there
front like they used to. But they pushed Mohawk around on that drive going down the field. That was a pretty important drive for Beaver Falls, too.
Let's send it out to Ellwood City Sports as Freedom again back in the red zone.
So we're now 3rd and goal from the 5. The Wolverines get a stop here. It is huge. They got to stop them 2 more times. Got 1 wide out, far to the right, 2 in the backfield. Gonna pass it. Gives chase. Oh, taken down! Declan O'Brien, Colton Gulo in there on a 3rd and 7. Sack him all the way back at the 12-yard line. It's 4th down, folks. And I tell you what, Declan O'Brien, I said this last year, Brad, he was my defensive player of the year. Nobody else agreed with me, but I'm still going to stand by that.
Meanwhile, Neshannock able to get a touchdown.
How do you not block him?
Snap on the extra point.
And you know what he's going to do every time. He's really going to blitz all day.
I mean,
get the PAT, no
kids
matter.
had a nose for the
all
ball
over
since 9th
Northgate,
grade,
now leading by
and
41 points in that. So back up
as Brown tried
Ellwood
to stop,
City,
get around him.
trying to
Gulo
stop
was going to
Freedom.
take him off. 4th and 13, huge play here. Back to pass. Surveys, goes it down there. Oh, what a catch. Touchdown,
Wow.
Mason O'Donnell, as Tyler Amicone went to try to tip that ball, and O'Donnell alertly caught that ball in traffic into the end zone.
Somehow able to hang on and make the catch. Freedom staying in that game. That's going to cut it down to a 1-score game yet again. Laurel all over Rochester. Let's flip it off to some of our huddle cams. Take a look at what's going on outside of the county with some of the away games going on here tonight. Newcastle was leading 20-0 over Knock at half. They still appear to be in control there. Out in Ohio, now 40+ on the board for the Hounds against Grand Valley. That one over and done with as they get ready for the big one next week. We'll be out there for the game against Farrell. 14-7 now. Southside has taken the lead over Shenango. So can the Cats respond? We'll stay here and busted play, unfortunately, as soon as we join in, and McConnell just got absolutely smacked in the backfield by a multitude of Rams defenders. They'll keep tabs there. And then Union. Hey, that's the new one. They got 2 touchdowns tonight now, Eric. Still trailing by 2 scores, but some fight for the U against a pretty powerful Western Beaver team. They're down by 2 scores still, but still an impressive feat so far here. Early 3rd quarter, trailing 26-14.
Well, and we said last Thursday night when we did the game with Riverside, they showed a lot of fight in that second half, and it's carried over. They got a long way to go in that game to get back in it, but you got to appreciate how hard that team continues to fight.
We appreciate you all joining us here as we enjoy our time going around the county and beyond on our Red Zone style broadcast. Keep an eye on all 4 of these games. And it's also been fun tonight too, Eric, because we have all 8 county schools playing out-of-county foes, which, honestly, it's a little rough on our end to try to get all these games covered. We love having the local rivalries, but this is what happens when you begin conference plays. You're going to have a lot more games that are, doing exactly that.
Penn Hills still leading Aliquippa 7-0. They have
How
the ball.
about that?
They have the ball with a little under 10 to go in the third quarter, and they're inside the Aliquippa 25. They just got a penalty on Aliquippa to take the ball down inside the 15. And I've gone over to our friends at Southside here full time as well, because that's one to keep an eye on right now.
Hey, you're watching that in the bottom left of your screen right now, as it looks like the Hounds have scored again. Or actually, take that back. It's the first points of the game for Grand Valley. So Wilmington's defense that had allowed negative yardage the last 2 weeks combined, unable to keep a third straight game with a goose egg.
Yeah, but still, I mean, go on the road and put on this kind of performance on the road once again. They are the road warriors for sure.
Hey, those new lights down there at Western Beaver, they're sure showing them off. The touchdown lights going again on a long touchdown run there for the Golden Beavers. We're also keeping tabs on all the games on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Mars, that score feels misleading, the way that Mars has controlled Montour tonight. 19-6 the score, but credit to the Spartans. They're hanging tough in there.
Yeah, they are. Might not be enough, though, for them tonight. That's a little bit of a disappointing result. I'm surprised that they are getting handled like that by Mars, but you know, this conference is, I don't know. They could
4A as a whole is still very up in the
yeah.
air to me.
They really could be. That could be a two-team conference, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know that I'd want to be on the other side of Aliquippa next week if they can't come back and win this game. But at the same time, I'm feeling pretty good about myself if I'm Newcastle going to that game and what Aliquippa's having problems with right now.
I was just about to ask that exact question for you, as it looks like the Canes have put another one up on the board. PAT is no good, so 26-0 Newcastle leading over Knock. But I guess that was the question I was going to ask is, do you want to be facing an Aliquippa team immediately after that?
No, I don't think you do, but at the same time, this Newcastle team, just given what they've gone through the last couple of years, I don't know that they understand the challenge next week. They do in terms of name of program, but I don't know that they understand the history or the challenge or what this team went through a season ago, trying to stay alive and be in the playoffs and ultimately not get there. And the slide started with the loss to Aliquippa. So I don't think they care. I just don't think those guys really care. I think there's something different about them that they didn't have last year. It's a different level of confidence, and it's a different level of ability for this Newcastle team right now. And I just don't think that those guys are going to be phased. There might be some youth issues next week when they play them. Marino Graham never played Aliquippa. Doesn't really get the history of the Quips maybe just yet. But I just don't think those guys are going to care that much.
Mohawk, can they respond now, trailing 8-6 into the fourth quarter? That game is Fadden able to get that one off to Ardro for a short gain. Work yourself in and out from that one.
It's a little concerning with Mohawk too, James. I said it earlier that your best player is your starting quarterback, and he is not in a full rhythm with his wide receivers yet, and we're now almost 5 games into the season. So absent of a running game, and Lucas Stratton has done what he can here the last couple weeks, but absent of a pure number one running back running game with Cash Stratton out for however long, this team just, you want the ball in Bobby Fadden's hands, and he's going to have to try to do a lot, and it's not going to look pretty when he does, but he's going to have to try to do the whole thing.
Laurel game coming to an end awfully quickly as well. Again, they only did 8-minute quarters in the second half. Rochester just so low on the numbers, couldn't play last week. That game, not a forfeit yet. It is still just a postponement for the time being, though it could turn into, if they do not make it up by the end of the season, it would turn into a Rochester forfeit. Most of the second stringers, it looks like, in there for the Spartans. I would say second stringers in for Rochester as well, except, well, when you only have, 15 dressed tonight, kind of tough to do just that.
But here's the thing, and I have a lot of respect for what Gene Matzuk built there at Rochester.
25 years doing it, yeah.
I understand their history and everything. Why would you even entertain the idea of making that game up? Play your games out, try to find some confidence with this team, and you got to go back to the drawing board. And clearly with this Rochester program, there's issues at the youth level because they're not bringing enough guys up. I mean, you would rather have 40 guys and 20 of them be freshmen than go through what they're going through right now.
Yeah.
And just have to play them and take their lumps and learn what you have and develop those guys. And they can't do that. The numbers are not there for them for whatever reason with youth programs or whatever. Why would you put yourself out there? What are you gaining by playing that game against Neshannock? You know, if you have to squeeze it in early in the season, early in a short week late in the season, there's just nothing to gain there.
Well, let me answer that question first. I don't see that game being played unless Rochester miraculously needs one more win to make it into the playoffs.
Right, and they won't.
And no, it doesn't look like there's any chance of that happening. And as far as...
They're not going to win a game this year, I don't think. I mean, maybe they play Summit, maybe, but they might get one there. But
yeah, even that, though, isn't a foregone conclusion. But as for the the numbers game, that's just, you hate to say it, but that's 1A and 2A football. You're going to have, schools are going to have these ebbs and flows in terms of enrollment. I mean, Mohawk was a perfect example. When Coach McCutcheon's daughter's graduating class was going through, the girls' teams were playing for state basketball championships. There were 5 male students in Carly McCutcheon's grade. Just, you're going to have low numbers. You're not going to have, great sporting teams when that happens. It is what it is. That's just the facts of life. Maybe that's what's going on right now. The same sort of scenario going on right now with Rochester. You're just going to have a grade or two that you don't have huge numbers coming through. That's going to happen. It happened 10 years ago when Central Valley came into existence, Eric, and they've fought back pretty well from there. So it's not the end of the world, no doubt about it. But you're right. It's definitely a cause for concern.
Southside scored again, so they're up 21-7, and that might end up being a door slamming shut on Shenango tonight. That's if they can't rally here in this contest tonight, I think this probably is going to put them out of it for the rest of the season. I think there's just too many teams that they would have to leap as far as playoffs, and I don't know what they're going to. How many teams make the single A playoffs? Is it 12? I think, or is it 8? How do they? I think it's 12, right? The top 4.
Let me confirm that in a moment. But I will say this. So just looking at that Big 7 conference, we're assuming that in some order, Laurel and Neshannock Southside will probably be the top 3. Who's your 4th place team ahead of Shenango right now, though? Shenango, Summit, Rochester, Northgate? I don't think any of them.
The problem's going to be, though, that they still have to play Neshannock, they still have to play Laurel, and they still have a game against Fort Cherry, which I know Fort Cherry is non-conference, but that's going to be a big ladder to climb, though. That team, though, you got to like what you've seen out of them the last couple of weeks. I mean, they go on the road, they beat Mohawk, they find their quarterback, they get their running game back on track, and they're certainly pointed in the right direction. There's no question about that. And maybe they come back next week, maybe they pick off in Neshannock. I don't know. But the Penn Hills Aliquippa game, just the script has flipped momentarily here because Penn Hills was driving, and, they were deep in Aliquippa territory, came away with nothing, and Aliquippa just hit a big 25, 30-yard play. So they're pulling themselves out of the hole here. The Quips appear to have awakened, even if all for a second.
To answer your question about 1A, yes, there are 4 conferences in Class 1A. I had to confirm that, so that means you will get a full 16-team field. So in theory,
so 16 out of 20 then.
In theory, you're going to get 4 in each conference. You could get only 3, or you could get 5. That's all up to the discretion of the committee this year. So again, Southside, Laurel, and Neshannock are going to be top 3. I have a tough time thinking that Shenango isn't going to be ahead of Northgate, Rochester, and Summit Academy, especially considering they've already taken care of Northgate pretty handily.
Yeah, they will, and they're going to fight with the Avellas of the world that have had good starts to the season, 4-0 before tonight. I haven't seen a score between them and Cal tonight, but it's going to be an uphill climb. They're going to be on the road. They're going to play a top seed. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to get matched up. They could be in a situation, in all honesty, where they play Fort Cherry, the penultimate game of the year. They may have to turn it around and play them in the first round of the playoffs too. That's pretty tough. But you would much rather be in that position than you were the position a year ago.
Oh, wow.
So, not 10 times out of 10, there is what do we got here? There is a fumble in the Aliquippa game recovered by Penn Hills with 6:47 to go in the third quarter, and they were going to have the ball in plus territory.
So it still remains a 7-0 lead for Penn Hills. This is a Penn Hills team.
Oh, and it wasn't even a forced out either.
Oh, no way.
It popped out of the running back's hands for the quips, and Penn Hills pounced on it. Unbelievable. And you're just going to have to, if you're listening along with us, you're going to have to just listen to the updates of that game. We can't tap into that feed, so that is a commercial broadcast that we are not allowed to source. So we'll keep you posted on that. But Penn Hills is going to have it inside the 50, Aliquippa side of the field when they get back from the timeout.
Laurel game under 2 minutes to go. That one wrapping up. Neshannock leading Northgate 55-21. That's through 3 quarters. That's also in a running clock. Mohawk trailing by 2 with 6:30 remaining, an 8-6 Beaver Falls advantage in that one.
And, to go back to your point about Shenango, too, it's the other thing that you're going to have working to your advantage. You've already beat Northgate, you're going to beat Rochester, and you're going to beat Summit Academy. So you've got those 3 wins. You have 2 now. That's 5-5. If they were not to win another game, that team is going to be in 2 of those games for sure. All due respect to what Jimmy Graham has at Shenango, I enjoyed watching them last weekend, at least for a half. They're not on Fort Cherry's level right now. Nobody is at single A except for maybe Clareton.
Right.
So you're going to have to give that one up. But I think they're going to be in the other 2 games with Neshannock next week, and also I think Laurel is in 3 weeks for them. So that's a good stretch for them. It's a good comeuppance for a team that's, again, they're pointed in the right direction. But they're going to have to pick off a win somewhere among those 2 teams.
Let's go
this side.
Tap
What
into
a
the
he
broadcast
really
again.
cut that
Wolverines
ball.
trying
Basically,
to double
I
their
think it was
advantage
about
again
the
in the
line
red
of
zone with 6
scrimmage.
minutes to go.
Came across the field, but kind of going upfield the whole way. And I want to think it was Patterson that gave him one of them key blocks going down that sidelines to spawn him them extra 8 yards. It's 1st and 10, ball in the 14, 5:34. Smiley, shotgun. Curtin to his right. Frisk to his left, hands off Curtin. Got some blockers, follows Patterson up there. He's going to get down to about the 10.5-yard line for the Wolverines. Going to give them a pickup of about 3, so it's going to be 2nd down and 7.
Most important thing, that clock is rolling. Under 5 now.
So on this 2nd and 7, ball on the 11-yard line, they can get a first down, Brad.
4 wide receivers.
Yep, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Ball right in the middle of the field. Handoff, Curtin makes the first jump up the middle. He goes, going to fight for it, and he's going to get down to about the 1-yard line. Picked up 10 yards. It's now 1st and goal from the inside the 1-yard line. And they're taking a look at Vinnie Curie. The official saw something. And they're working on, it looks to be just a cramp on the sidelines for Vinny. I don't know if the official saw something.
I think it's when he it was a low tackle down low, and Vinny got hit low, and he kind of leaned back, and I think the official said, all right, just go.
Yep. So 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. Curtin in the backfield to the left of quarterback Smiley. Handoff Curtin. Touchdown! Wolverines up by 2 scores. It's 27-14 as Curtin takes it into the end zone with the 1-yard plunge at the 4:11 mark for
big insurance touchdown right there. Again, doubling the advantage as Curtin gets the touchdown.
Who would you say right now in Lawrence County is the best team of the 8? I mean, is it a foregone that it's Wilmington?
No, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, just the way that we've seen Laurel play so far this year.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to see the best from Newcastle, where they would play in there. I think Neshannock is still looking to play their best game for sure. I think those those are the 4 teams that are definitely at the top.
Too early.
Yeah, too early to tell. And, it's a different, it's all different types of football, too, of who you're playing, when you're playing, and all that as well. So it is very difficult to make those sort of distinctions.
I think it's entirely possible if Newcastle plays its tail off next week, let's say Aliquippa, in a get-right spot, wins that game, but you walk out of there thinking that Newcastle still might be the better team. And, is maybe the standard, the flag bearer right now for the county. I mean, that's this Newcastle team, a lot of similarities with last year and them kind of going off early. Now, they were undefeated last year when they got to Aliquippa, but not this year because of the Hopewell loss. But I think they're better this year, even without some of those guys they had on last year's team, simply because, again, they're running the ball and they got the #1 defense of any of the 8 teams we cover. Mars, by the way, just housed it, so they extended their lead. It was 19-13, and now they've now added another touchdown, so it's extra point pending, 25-13 over Montour.
Yeah, that game was all of a sudden looking interesting. Still might be interesting, though Mars able to get the big response there. Mohawk still looking for their response, but running out of time, Eric. They're in plus territory at the 40-yard line, but trailing 8-6.
James,
that'd be revolts.
If they lose this game tonight, they're out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is not a chance that they're going to be able to. I hate to say that. I picked them to go to the 2A final. My fault, probably.
Well, the thing again too with the way Class 2A works is that you can get 5, maybe even 6 teams out of a conference. The question is, what does the committee claim to be the better conference and the best teams to be going through? And right now, I'm not. Because it's probably going to come down at this point. If Mohawk can't come back and win this, it'd probably be between Mohawk and Union maybe for that final spot.
It could be, and maybe the head-to-head's going to decide that. But
that's next week.
You can't honestly tell me that anybody, and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can in saying this, because you got to remember we're dealing with high school teams here. You can't tell me if they lose to a winless Beaver Falls team that somebody's going to look at them and think that, it's going to be held against them.
Right.
For sure, and that's the situation you don't want to be in. This is where the young man wearing number 4 or 3, whatever he would be.
He's 4 now, yes.
Yes, it's 4, that's right. This is where he's got to be the superstar. He's got to be the one that puts the team on his shoulders, and he's their best player, and he's got to get him down the field and get this done.
Oh, right on cue. He runs it on 3rd and 11, Eric, and he's going to get the first down.
And they need to do more of this,
yes,
I think.
And I think you saw it a little bit last week. They started to do that zone read just a little bit more frequently. It is, by the way, a final there at Laurel, 40-0, your final score there. So no records broken in that regard, although we do have a record. Again, congratulations to Jack Miles, who set the program's all-time tackles record here tonight. Neshannock might be trying to put on a record of their own. I'm going to have to look up the most points ever scored in a Neshannock game because they're now at 60. I believe the record was the playoff game against North Catholic back when it was Cardinal World North Catholic a few years ago. That was a final score of, I think, 72-35.
Penn Hills, once again, red zone, nothing.
Can't get anything out of it.
They had the ball inside the 15-yard line. They got backed up due to a penalty, and then there was a loss on a play. They got a chunk of it back. Do we have a flag on Aliquippa?
Right, what's the score and time on that when it pops back up there, Eric?
Still 7-0, and it is late, under a minute to go in the third. They may have, and I need to see another replay, but they may have missed a face mask here. But it's a moot point. Penn Hills is lining up to try a field goal, and this looks to be about 37 yards.
Let Eric take it away on the play-by-play.
It is, this is huge. It's good. So Penn Hills gets a 37-yard field goal with 3:03 to go in the third. And they're going to take a 10-0 lead at the pit against the Quips. They had to get something on that drive because this is now twice in the third quarter they've been down deep in Aliquippa territory. And the first time they went for it on 4th down, it looked like they came away with nothing. no way could they get down there a second time and not get points. So it's now a 2-possession game. That's huge. There's only 15:03 left of regulation.
Mohawk getting to the edge of the red zone. By the way, the record for most points in a game for Neshannock is 64. They got 62 on the board right now. So we might still got some time left in that one, too.
Freedom's on the march again. They're inside the 30 now against Ellwood. I think we need to keep it on this, though, to see what Mohawk can do.
Oh, for sure.
Great job by our crew. I know we don't have this a booth there tonight, but that is a great job by our crew to get to that venue to get the stream for us here.
Yeah, and big thanks to everybody at Beaver Falls and Geneva College for working with us to make it happen as well. As Fadden will keep.
Top-notch organization at Beaver Falls. At Geneva, they take care of you. They took care of us a couple years ago when we were there for Ellwood City, and that's an awesome venue to watch football.
Question I got for you now, Eric, with 2 minutes remaining. How close do you need to get before you trust the leg
15.
of Andrew Lloyd? Get that
15,
right about where they are?
I think you need to be somewhere inside the 20. I don't know that you can – you need to make this as close to an extra point and comfortable as possible for him. I know he's got a good foot, but you just can't you got to try to get him as many yards as you can. I think realistically, if this is now coming up going to be third down for them, it looks like, they need to James, I got to be 100% honest with you. I'm not even sure I don't go for it on fourth down. Depending on where the spot is, this could be 4-down territory for him. We're watching Ellwood City and Freedom now as Ellwood City.
Ellwood City trying to hold on to that 2-score lead. That game late, currently in a timeout there at Mohawk Beaver Falls with just under 2 minutes to play there.
But you got to think about it. I mean, you probably want to just go and take the lead, but you know, if it's like 4th and 1, I might actually go for it. We'll see what Tim McCutcheon wants to do. And Freedom, Ellwood City just got a big pick.
Nice play there defensively. And guess what? It's Mr. Amicone who had the big catch, his first career catch for that game-winning touchdown a week ago, now makes a defensive interception there to essentially seal the game there at Helling Stadium. Down to a minute 30 remaining here. Back to the action for Mohawk. Handoff for Lucas Stratton. Not much room there, but all 3 timeouts. No need to panic yet for Mohawk either.
Seems like they're playing to put themselves in field goal position, just trying to keep it safe. They don't want to throw the ball, and force anything into a tight window and cause a turnover here. Just keep it on the ground. They trust Lucas Stratton now. They've been trusting Fadden to run the football in this contest a little bit too. So they feel like they can keep this like right in between these hashes here and just basically kick what's going to amount to an extra point. I mean, they have to get a little closer than that, but
yeah, right now about a 34-yarder. I think it's the play where you keep it in Fadden's hands. Do that zone read, let him make the decision.
No, it's got to be Bobby all the way, I think.
And they're going to let it wind down and call a timeout with 44 seconds remaining. So we'll be back to that one in a moment. Northgate puts another touchdown on the board. And Neshannock has scored 64 in 3 different games, actually, for the most points ever in a game. Twice against Riverside, and the one against North Catholic in the playoffs back in 2015. A couple of big names on that team. Someone named Dino Tomlin. I believe Joey Porter. No, was Joey Porter Jr. on that team? No, there was another Steelers player's son who was on that team. It's eluded me. Go ahead.
Interesting note here. Andrew Lloyd's longest this season is 28. So.
Yeah, everything's been within 30.
Yep.
He's definitely got the leg for it, but I think you're right. You're not wanting to.
Well, we're going to, at least on my end, go full screen with Aliquippa and Penn Hills here the rest of the way because this is.
That's in the 4th quarter now, right?
It's not quite in the 4th quarter.
So still in the 3rd, still plenty of time, but remains a 10-0 advantage. Quick look at some of the other games going on still across the county. The Wilmington game is a final. Couldn't tell on the scoreboard. We believe the final score was 42-13. And here's Mohawk. And let's see, how conservative are they going to be?
Something in the middle, probably. They're going to throw it.
Looking to set up the screen. I like the call.
What a call.
But he cut the wrong way. He had blockers inside, and Stratton tried to go outside. So it'll be about a 30-yard field goal. They'll probably let time wind down and then attempt the field goal.
They had this well designed. I mean, they had the blockers down the field. The protection on the screens is supposed to break down. So they had that where they needed everybody to be in that regard, but just not. It was well read by Beaver Falls, and just a little bit of a slight cut to the wrong side of the field, the shorter side of the field, and we're going to put this on the foot of Andrew Lloyd now and see if he can win it.
And we'll actually take it to field level with some volume as well for the final of that one. While we wait, it is a final here at Ellwood City, 28-14, the final there.
That's
so Ellwood
huge.
now 2-0 in the MAC. How about that for the start?
Yeah, that's huge for them. Very impressive what Dan Bradley's done. He really has his finger on the pulse of his team, both basketball and football. I mean, he knows what to put together for his squad, and he's put them in the best position to win here in these this stretch of games, and they got some momentum right now. This team could end up being, like we said, a 6-7 win team when all's said and done. And again, I would never have guessed that when the season started. Aliquippa, by the way, is stuffed on a 3rd and 1 and lost about 6 yards. So they're going to have to punt with under a minute to go. Probably going to take it to the 4th quarter and drag it out at that point. But they are in a world of hurt right now, down 10-0 to Penn Hills.
So you see Bobby Fadden coming out to hold. Andrew Lloyd had 3 field goals last week, but Eric, like you mentioned, none longer than 28 yards. This will be officially a 30.5-yard field goal.
It's in his range.
And Beaver Falls is going to call an icing the kicker timeout. Final score starting to trickle in. Again, Ellwood City 28-14, excuse me. Wilmington 49-10, we believe that final is. We'll confirm.
You know, here's the value of Bobby Fadden in a situation like this. Andrew Lloyd is by himself, as you see it on the screen there. He's by himself practicing, but he's got, again, the best player on their team holding for him. So there has to be a level of calm that settles in on him. And just, you know, if this was Josh Wilkins, we wouldn't even be we could look away. We would know what's going to happen. I mean, he could hit it from 60 if he tried. But in this case, for Lloyd, the pressure on him to get this field goal, to try to win this game for his team, but to have his quarterback, his best offensive option on this team, holding the ball for him, and he knows he can trust him, sure hands, you know, things are going to run smoothly. But Bobby Fadden just needs to be in the middle of these things for Mohawk, because regardless of what his numbers look like, he's still the best option that they have to do any damage. South Allegheny, by the way, 56-7 over South Park. I think they've separated themselves as the team to beat in 2A. So it might be a little bit wide open, but they're definitely the team to beat.
Kick is up, and it is no good. Beaver Falls gets their first win in nearly 2 years, and Mohawk falls to 0-2 in conference play. Now 4 straight lost by the Warriors.
That's a rough position to be in. I'm at a loss for words as to what to say. I mean, they are 4 straight losses after a huge win over Neshannock to start the season, and they are now in a 1-4 hole looking up. Aliquippa, by the way, is going for it on 4th and 1 on their own 30, and they get Penn Hills to jump and get the first down.
Oh, my word. It looks like it's going to go final at Neshannock, so no record there, though a big number, 62-27, your final score there for the Lancers. Switch over to a couple of the other games. Western Beaver wrapping up a home win against Union, 46-14. Again, obviously it's a loss for Union, but a lot of good things we saw tonight from this team. A couple of defensive plays early, good touchdowns, multiple touchdowns, stepping in the right direction still with this very young team.
And they're playing the last 2 teams pretty tough. This is a really good defense that they played tonight in Western Beaver, one of the best that they're going to see all season long. And, you know, next week now becomes a massive game for both Union and Mohawk, separated by, how close? I mean, they're, 4 miles apart?
Yeah.
I mean, if that is now the biggest game on the slate. And, if you would have said to me 5 weeks ago that Mohawk was going to be 1-4 and playing for their lives against Union, I would have thought, okay, maybe they got growing pains. They probably have lost a game or two here and there. Their schedule's really tough at the front end of it. Let's see this team develop as the season goes on. But if you would have told me that Mohawk was fighting for its life at 1-4, playing Union next week, there's no way I would have believed you. We're going Montour Mars here.
And Mars just attempted a long field goal. Actually, they may have gotten timeout called before.
Yeah, Southside and Shenango still, last I saw, was 21-7 Southside. So that's a Southside team that, again, everything is going to be in front of them. They're going to be tricky. I still favor both Neshannock and Laurel against them. I don't know who I'd pick between Neshannock and Laurel head-to-head just yet, but maybe take the over in that game. Perhaps.
Yeah.
But this is still a Southside team that they've shown now that they're not going anywhere. And Shenango does have some work to do, but again, they have to feel more confident going into this rough stretch of games, better than what they did a couple weeks ago when they started 0-2. I mean, they're playing some good ball still, and that's not an easy place to go and win. You have to play pretty much perfect when you go to this location. We saw Laurel do that a season ago.
Yeah, going down to Hookstown especially, very, very difficult playing any team, especially the way Southside just controls the ball. And they weathered an early Shenango storm and have outscored them 21-0 here in the second half.
Oh,
that Mars field goal was good, by the way, 29-13.
You
That
come
score.
down from up here, it's a 6-hour drive, too. I mean,
Yeah, right. But I still think plenty of good things yet to come from this Shenango program, and I think we're gonna have a fun time trying to figure out what game we're going to go to next week, because we have, as you mentioned, the Mohawk Union game going on next week. We'll be helping out with the Farrell against Wilmington game, big one there up in District 10, and then you also have Neshannock Shenango. So we're going to have some questions to figure out ourselves here in terms of where we are going to end up going for our broadcasts here a week from now.
Big development in Aliquippa. They just hit a bomb. And they're going to be set up first and goal now with 11:57 to go in the contest, down 10-0. And they're playing with a little bit of spunk now. These Quips, we said it a couple times here, look like they might have awoken, but they're setting up in prime position. This is the best opportunity they've had all night long.
We're going to step aside real quick, and we're going to get you the final scores coming through. Final updates on this Aliquippa game as well, and wraps up for the entire evening here. We'll wait until after this third down play here for Shenango, and then we will step aside for one final quick break here on Around the County. Here from the Crane Room Grills. McConnell's going to have to just throw this one away. Back in a moment, Around the County on LC SportsNet, powered by LCAP.
Being the home team, to playing at home. And at LGKG, we have been your home team for over 90 years.
We're more than just a law firm. We're your friends, your neighbors, an advocate when life takes an unexpected turn.
We're not just lawyers that practice law. We live in this community, just like you.
When you need us most, we're at our best.
When you're looking for quality concrete services, contact the experienced professionals at Doran Concrete. Our company is family, locally owned and operated, and has been serving the community for over 30 years. Get residential or commercial concrete services for any size job. Our skilled professionals offer prompt and reliable services at an affordable price. We believe in the principles of honesty, integrity, and reliability. Get in touch with us for exceptional concrete services at prices that you can afford.
Does your blueprint not match the vision of your building project? Not with Creative Edge Architecture. From concept to creation, Jeff Measel will help tackle the complex problems, creating design solutions and construction experience. Creative Edge gives you the edge design and construction meet.
Kick off the school year with a visit to Simms Cafe on Wilmington Road, serving breakfast, lunch, and signature beverages. Stop in, give them a call, or order online at simmscafe.net. And remember, kids 10 and under get a free pancake or waffle every Saturday. With new specials weekly, it's no wonder Simms Cafe is where sandwiches equal smiles.
Works in Progress Painting wishes a successful and satisfying season to all the Lawrence County sports teams and athletes. Work hard and bring honor to your team, school, and family in how you play. Joe Wright and his family have been providing painting, window cleaning, and other property services for business and homeowners in the Lawrence County area for over 10 years. Their goal on every project is to provide a meaningful service that honors their customer, God, and their family, and to have fun while doing it. Works in Progress is now booking interior painting projects for both residential and commercial projects. Call Joe today at 724-714-4294 to discuss your next project.
For the most complete recap of Friday night's high school football action, tune in on your way home from the game to the WPIAL Scoreboard Show, only here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Hi, this is Don Rebel. Join me in a cast of thousands for all the scores with recaps from the top games, plus we highlight the night on the Trib Live Roundtable. That's the WPIAL Scoreboard Show after the game on Friday nights on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and at tribhssn.triblive.com.
Coming out of the commercial break, and Southside gets a big return and gets another touchdown, so that can score. Game definitely closer than what the final score is going to look like, and it looks like lights out there at Southside as well, 34-7 with the PAT pending. So final scores going all around the county here now. Eric, let's take a look at what we got overall, as some games have wrapped up. Most of the games at this point have wrapped up. But Ellwood City victorious 28-14. Laurel victorious over Rochester 40-0. Score update from Heinz Field real quick. Go ahead.
Aliquippa just got a big touchdown pass. The first and goal that we called before the break was called back for a holding penalty. They got some of the yardage back. They've had a couple guys go down, but then just a strike. Marquise Council throws the deep ball. Quips are on the board. It's 10-6. About 10 minutes to go in the fourth.
So again, Ellwood City 24, Freedom 14. That's a final. 28-14, excuse me. Laurel 40-0 over Rochester. Also a final score there from Laurel High School. Mohawk loses on the road 8-6 against Beaver Falls. That's a final down there at Geneva. First win in almost 2 years for the Tigers. Neshannock victorious 62-27 over Northgate. Newcastle final 45-0 at Knox. So shutouts in 3 of the first 4 games of the year now for the 4 out of the first 5 of the year now for Newcastle, pitching a shutout in now 3 straight games for the Canes. Shenango trailing 35-7 late there against Southside down in Hookstown. Just a couple minutes left to go in that one. Union suffers a defeat down in Industry. Final score of, I believe it was 46-14. Actually, that game is still going on, excuse me. That one has just moved into the fourth quarter. 46-14 the score, Western leading over Union. And Wilmington, a final score of 49-13 over Grand Valley, Ohio. We're going to wrap things up here in the next couple of minutes. Make sure you stay tuned on Lawrence County SportsNet. Again, we will have multitude of games next week. We will have the Lawrence County Band Festival on Wednesday as well, Eric. So we're going to see when our podcast will be officially recorded. But lots of fun stuff coming up next week on the airwaves. We'll also be trying to, as we enjoy, we were talking during the break, kids still playing on the field, the camera's still going. We get to see the cart going across the field there at Grand Valley High School. Also want to mention we did hear on the last play of the game at Laurel a injury on the field. Don't have any details except that it looked like they were putting a cart and an air cast onto one of the Laurel players. So unfortunate to hear that. We wish a speedy recovery to, especially on the last play of a Mercy Rule game, an injury being sustained. Wishing a speedy recovery to that young man. 40-0 Laurel with the victory. We will have 2 games for sure. We might try to get a third one on next Friday night. We'll see how things end up playing out. But again, Wilmington against Farrell, Neshannock against Shenango, and Mohawk at Union, the 3 games going on a week from today. Eric, it's been a fun night here at the Crane Room, getting to check out 8 county games plus a multitude of others across Western PA. It's been a joy.
Yeah, good to sit back, watch some games on a Friday night instead of just having to focus on one of them. We saw a lot of good action tonight by our teams. Some get-right moments. Neshannock, a nice bounce back after having the week off. Laurel, a nice bounce back after getting handled by Bishop Canavan. Union continues to fight. Wilmington continues to roll. Mohawk's got a long way to go.
Big thanks to everyone at the Crane Room, the entire Measle family. Mike and John, big stuff, always helping us here. Big thanks to them at the Crane Room Grill for allowing us to do this. It's been a lot of fun. Let us take over this room here in the Crane Room and just enjoy watching football. We've appreciated everybody coming in and keeping tabs with us as well, watching the games going on across the county. Big thanks to our crews everywhere, the entire crew out at Laurel, Tim, Lee, Darren, and Matt doing the work there. Ashley getting a band footage down at Ellwood City for our Ellwood City Band of the Week here this week. Big thanks again to Rob and Garrett doing a small crew as well down at Beaver Falls to be able to allow us to get all these games covered online. Appreciate everybody joining us. And again, thanks to Don Rebel and Trib Live as well. Got to give them a shout out for allowing us to tap into some of their feeds as well over the course of the evening. Switch on over to the Trib Live High School Sports Network for the post-game show. The Scoreboard show going on right now has just gotten underway from Trib Live. Check that out. You'll hear recaps of all the great games coming there as well. But one last time for Eric Thomas, I'm James Dotson. Thanks for joining us for Around the County, the Red Zone style broadcast here on the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP. Your voice for Lawrence County sports.
The gold ball headed home to Newcastle.